The Aprilia RS 457 is Kickass. It makes every other sports bike on the market look like an amateur. As an Aprilia owner, I can't find the line that separates this Maharashtra-born phenom from my Italian-born 210 V4. This is Indian-made, but it's 100% Italian in design, in how it feels, and performance. This is not to say that it is flawless. Always remember, the Aprilia RS 457 is extremely dedicated to being a good sports bike. It's not going to thrill everyone. And Aprilia in India is not challenge-free. Service experience is an unknown. There is heat on your legs. Brakes will fade as you ride harder, and I do have solutions to that. And the suspension is great for a sports bike, not a daily commuter. But point it into a corner, lean a little or a lot. Open the throttle at the right moment and you'll be laughing with unbridled joy and exhilaration. I do have to remind myself that the RS 457 is made in India. It proves that we can make world-class products when we want to. And I hope Piaggio realizes that world-class and made in India is a great long-term strategy. Let's get the problems out of the way first. And the biggest one is brakes. The faster you ride, the more they'll overheat. Ridden normally, there is enough stopping power, there's good feel, and the bite is on the sporty side of friendly. I really did enjoy using the brakes. And the problem seems to come from absolutely pointless cost cutting and therefore fixable. The first thing I would do is change the brake fluid to .5.1. It gives the system the capacity to deal with more heat. And honestly, I do this for all of my bikes anyway. It's not expensive, but it is a big upgrade. The calipers on the RS 457 appear to be the exact same as the KTM 390, which means you should be able to get sintered brake pads very easily from KTM, the aftermarket, or indeed from Aprilia themselves. The global media rides report no braking complaints, and they were all running Aprilia race pads. Organic traffic and engagement is gold. Brake pads, not so much. Next, heat, and you get the trifecta. Hot air from the radiator, radiated heat from the catcon, and contact heat from the aluminium frame. Did I enjoy this heat in traffic? No. Would I still choose to live with it? Yes, and the reasons are the rest of this story. Heat comes with fast engines, and how much you're willing to accept is a choice you have to make. Finally, service. Aprilia India has a poor reputation of dealing with the tiny fleet of scooters it has sold so far. Owners report parts availability issues, and service can be a slow and long drawn-out experience, like an Italian meal but with none of the flavor of Nonna's tomato sauce. How this network will deal with a premium customer with a twin-cylinder motorcycle remains to be seen. I'd rather you expected trouble and find none than expect to be treated like a king and come away frustrated. Service is 6,000 kilometers and 6 months apart, and you'll do 3 oil changes the first year and then once a year after that. The 457 can be serviced at specific Aprilia dealers. That list is on their website. The warranty applies only to original owners and is 36,000 kilometers and 3 years. Currently, there's no extensions, but if Aprilia offers an extension, you should get it. I'm glad all of this is behind us and that you haven't skipped to the good part. Aprilia makes stunning engines, and I'm happy to report that this twin-cylinder is fantastic. It wakes up with a typical Aprilia growl and settles into a fairly loud idle. Blipping for downshifts, even as softly as I could, everyone would turn to look. That look contained admiration and not jackass, so it must have sounded good to them too. You're going to love how loud and deep the sound is. The engine is also inertia-free. It picks up revs without effort, and it sort of freewheels when you roll off the throttle, which makes the riding feel unnaturally smooth. The power comes on so strong with the revs, you will forget to complain about the minor buzz that comes with higher revs, which you don't need very often because this is as flexible as a trained gymnast. Coming off a speed breaker at just under 20 kilometers an hour, it took 4th gear to get a stumble out of the RS 457. In the city, I could ride very swiftly, leaving it in 5th, sometimes 6th gear, which is crazy for a serious sports bike. And it's fast. You can get past 150 with no lag at all. It's effortless and unstrained in a way that reminds me of the Aprilia V4. Scaled down for sure, but honest. This is the best twin cylinder in the class, despite a slight tapering off of power right at the top. And when the Tuono 457 comes, I'm hoping Aprilia leaves this engine and gearbox alone. The gear shifts are precise, but they require a little bit of effort. And the clutch is super light because the lever is so long, which is an old Aprilia trick. If I were to buy a RS 457, I would also immediately be saving to add the optional quick shifter back as quickly as I could. And a quick word on the riding modes. All of them have full power, but the throttle response varies. Rain can feel slow, but it's super smooth. Eco is fine. I kept returning to the sport mode though because of how direct and instant it feels. It's just as impressive in the corners. What I love about Aprilia's RSV4s and Tuonos is that they feel natural. Learn to trust the grip, the feel, and the consistency of that experience. It's as if the motorcycle anticipates the next corner and you're planned for it. I am thrilled you'll get to feel and taste this connection on the RS457. This is one of the best frames on the market. It's clinically precise, has more feels than everyone on Instagram put together, and even experienced riders will be thrilled. It always feels light on its feet. Changing side to side, there seems to be no weight at all. This is brilliant. Extra points for the Eurogrip Extreme tires. These are exceptionally good. They bring massive grip even in the wet and feels to the experience. The Aprilia has a level of ability and friendliness that you can spend years growing as a rider on a smooth, easy and confident learning curve. This, to me, is the closest you can come to the R15's level of friendliness for a motorcycle above 40 bhp. The RS457 is to the RSV4 a heck of a lot more than the R15 has ever been to the R1. This is a mic drop of a motorcycle. The flip side of that chassis package is comfort. The riding position is more committed than you think, and the suspension is firm but never harsh. So you will get thumped around a bit and there will be weight on your wrist and it will feel strenuous, especially if your commute is slow. The Aprilia comes with connectivity as standard, and the Aprilia graphics on the 5-inch TFT, they can look a little blocky, but they are super clear. I also love the menu layouts because they're easy to navigate and it's almost always obvious which button to press next. This is how it's done. The RS457 comes to us from huge Italian two-wheeler major Piaggio, which is a slightly odd company. Their primary motorcycle brand Aprilia makes smashing motorcycles, but they're far less good at making business plans. The RSV4 and Tuono, the flagships, they can be oddly hard to buy in many markets. They twiddle their thumbs for absolutely years. But look, their first motorcycle, it's a twin. It's world class and it's made in India. Makes us ask that question one more time. What's going on in Japan? The question becomes even more stark when I keep thinking that the RS457 is a world-class product, high quality and not watered down for India. The Aprilia makes stretching past the RC390 feel logical and stretching even further for an R3 or a Ninja 500. Wasteful. This is incredible. So, should you buy one? First, do not buy one unless you're absolutely clear that you're ready for a hardcore sports bike. The RS457 was designed for comfort just as much as French fries were created to unclog your arteries. Also, maybe don't buy one just yet. The variables in this picture are, frankly, scary. This factory has never built a motorcycle before, never mind a twin. This service network deals with scooters poorly and they're now facing a customer that's paid 5 times as much money. The dealer network, you get my drift. I recognize how tempting the RS457 is, and I feel you, my brothers and sisters. I suggest wait a few months and then take your delivery. At the very least, you'll have more information on what to expect. But if you do clear both of these hurdles, then I think it is imperative that you buy the Aprilia. This motorcycle represents its brand with a pride that makes my heart sing. This is a fast, flexible, world-class sports bike. And when the Tuono comes with more comfortable suspension, that will be fast and versatile. That makes it probably awesome. I haven't mentioned the design because it's obvious that this is a great-looking motorcycle. Styling, details, finish, quality, it's very hard to fault and it is class-leading. Aprilia has made us wait. I'm not angry because it feels like the wait's been worth it, and the RS 457, it represents hope. I hope we get world-class motorcycles in all the segments, as the 457 should be for sports bikes if Aprilia India can manage the service experience. The RS 457 is a resounding win for Indian sports bike enthusiasts, and by extension, for Aprilia. And if you're wondering, how can this victory turn into defeat? Piaggio India has shown itself capable of pulling that feat off, and I hope that they know better this time.